Okay, number one, we're using Euler's formula, which is faces plus vertices equals edges plus 2. The number of faces, I see the 2 bases, and then I see 6 rectangular faces, so that would be 8. The vertices, I see 6 up at the top, and then I see 6 more at the bottom, which would be 12. The edges are where the 2 faces come together, so that would be 6 at the top, 6 at the bottom, and then again 6 around in the middle, so that would be 18. So trying to find this formula that I see on here, I end up with 20 is equal to 20, which is, there we go. My answer at the bottom, it just wasn't quite there. Next question, they want us to name or draw a net for it. So I'm just confirming I need a total of 6 rectangular faces, which is right there. The first one only has 5, the last one has 7. It looks like we've got one more part. I thought we had just used Euler's formula for the 2-dimensional figure. I'm wondering if I'm missing half of my picture here. Okay, then using Euler's formula for that figure there, I ended up with 8 faces. I got 20 vertices, so I ended up with 28 equals 28. All right, I guess I would not stress over that one because I don't think we gave you any that were 2D. We gave you all of them that were 3D. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, the next one we're looking for surface area. I wrote down my formula for prism. The base in this particular case has dimensions that are 3 by 10. So the first thing I need is the perimeter of that, so I'm adding up all 4 sides. That gives me 26. If I go back and look at the figure, the height of the prism is 12. And then I need 2 big B, which is the area of the base. One of those bases is 30. So I'm going to grab my calculator and plug that in. Okay, plugging that in, I ended up with an area of 372. We're looking for the surface area of the cylinder. Again, let's go write down the formula, 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. In this particular case, I have the radius, it is 6. My height is 3. And going back and reading the directions, it wants us to leave it in terms of pi. So here we have a 36 pi. Here we have an 18 pi. Finally, adding those together and leaving it in terms of pi would be a 54 pi. All right, let's go back and pause again. Okay, apologies for all the mistakes this morning. I realized I had plugged in a 3 for the radius instead of a 6, so I went back, recalculated. Finally, I ended up with an area of 108 pi. So let's try that. Oops. Okay. Question number 5, we are looking for the height and we have a triangular prism. So we've been given the lateral area and that formula is perimeter times height plus 2 big B And we know what its lateral area is. And actually, lateral area is just perimeter times height. So we've got 532. They give me each of the edges of that triangle, so I'm going to add those up. So 4 plus 6 plus 8, and I'm looking for the height. We've got 18 times h equals 532. I'm going to take 532 and divide it by 18. And this should be a 19, not an 18. So let's try again. 532 divided by 19. And I end up with a height of 28. Okay, we're looking for the lateral area of the cone. So again, look at your formula sheet. Lateral area of a cone is pi RL. In this particular case, we have a radius of 4. We don't have the slant height. So we've got this is 4, this is 7. We need to go use Pythagorean's theorem to find that slant height. We've got L squared equals 7 squared plus 4 squared. Go type that in my calculator. I've got 65, and then I need to take the square root of 65. And I'm just going to write radical 65 here. It says round it to the nearest whole number. So typing that in, pi times 4 times the square root of 65, I get 101 and whole numbers. Question 6, they want us to find the surface area of that pyramid. Let's write down that formula. It is 1/2 PL plus big B. Again, P is the perimeter, which in this case it looks like it's a square pyramid, so that means my perimeter would be 44. They were nice and gave me the slant height, and then I need to plug in the area of that base. And I saw several of you goof on this. The area of that base would be 11 times 11. So typing that in, and finally adding them together, I got 539. Again, I found another mistake. I had typed in 19 instead of 9, so again, I got the wrong answer. Finally, I'm coming up with 300 and... Okay, question 7, they want us to find the surface area of the pyramid. So again, we've got 1/2 PL plus big B. This particular case, each one of those sides are 8, so 6 times 8 would be my perimeter. And again, they gave me the slant height, which is 8. To find the area of the base, it's a hexagon. That means there are 6 triangles, so 6 times 1/2. If you look at one of those triangles, the base is 8, and they've given us the height of that to be 4 radical 3. I'm going to grab my calculator and type everything in. Okay, typing in, I got, it says to the nearest whole number, 358. Number 8, they want the lateral area of the cone. So that is 1/2. Actually, it is just pi RL. Again, they gave us the radius as 9. We have to go find that slant height. So again, quick sketch over here using Pythagorean's theorem. This is 40, this is 9. I would do 9 squared plus 40 squared and take the square root. And I got 41 to be the slant height, and it wants it to the nearest whole number. So typing that into the nearest whole number, I got 1,159. Number 9, they want us to find the volume of that prism. That is big B times H. In this particular case, your base is a triangle, so the area of a triangle would be 1/2 base times height, and then this other H would be the height of the prism. If you take a look at that triangle, it has lengths that are 4 and 4, and then the height of the overall prism from one triangle to the other would be 8. So plugging that in, I end up with a volume of 64. next one we're looking for the volume of a cylinder. Volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times h. In this particular case, they gave us the diameter is 5, so your radius would be 2.5 squared, and they gave us a height of 12. And we need to go and find to the nearest tenth. So, and it says type your answer in terms of pi. So I'm typing in 2.5 squared times 12, and I've got 75 pi. And then they just want us to go ahead and multiply the 75 times pi and write our answer to the nearest tenth, 235.6. Next, what is the volume? That is 1/3 pi r squared times h. And I'm going to go ahead and pause it and plug that in because I'm running out of time. This particular case, they gave us everything we needed. They gave us the radius, they gave us the height. Typing that in, I've got 75.4. Okay, they're looking for the volume of a square pyramid. So again, a pyramid is 1/3 big B times h. It has a height of 7 and the base edge is 14. Let's try again. The height is 14, the base edge is 7, so the area of that would be 49. So again, typing in 49 times the height of 14 and taking 1/3 of that, and it says round to the nearest tenth, I get 228.7. Okay, the volume of a sphere. The volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed, and in this particular case, we don't know what that is. We're going to have to do a little bit of work. I have been given the surface area, so I'm going to substitute the 1296 pi. I need to go find that radius, so I'm going to divide by 4 pi. And then eventually take the square root. I've got 324 equals r squared. Taking the square root of that, we end up with r is equal to 18. Now we can take that and plug that in there. So 4/3 pi, 18 to the third, and it says leave it in terms of pi. I'm going to go ahead and type that in. Okay, plugging that in, I got 7,776. Okay, looks like I forgot to type in my pi. All right, question this one. So many of you put that the ratios were the same, but to get from the similarity to the ratio of their surface areas, you square it. So 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49. To get to volume, which is 3 dimensions, you would do 6 to the third power, which is 216, and then we need to do 7 to the third power, which is 343. Okay, last one. We've been given volume, and eventually we need to get back to surface area. So in other words, we have what's in the third column. We've got 4375 over 7560. So first thing I'm going to do is ask my calculator to reduce this. I'm going to type in 4375 divided by... Okay, I typed it in as a fraction, and then when you hit equals, it actually reduces it for us. It goes to 125 over 216. So to get from here to here, I need to take the cube root. The cube root of 125 is 5. The cube root of 216 is 6. And now I need to square those because they then want me to find the surface area. So we've got 25 over 36. The larger surface area is given, and we're going to set up a proportion and solve. Okay, finishing it up, I got 1,500.